Patience and discipline and conviction is the equation for success. We ended up banking today in the Discord. I'm up 10K on the day. We're going to go over the trades that we ended up taking. Today was some of the best price action I've seen in a little bit of time. I'm very happy with the execution today. So we're going to jump into the charts, talk about the trades I took, and a little bit about also last night, because last night ended up setting us up for this setup. So jumping into the charts here, we're going to be talking about what I exactly saw and why I had my bias of being bullish going into the day. So number one, the first thing I want to talk about is talking about our last night charting session. Last night, we ended up having a charting session, and I was talking about my bias of exactly what I wanted to see. Pulling up the screenshot from last night, my bias was I wanted to see us come back down, sweep the sell side level, and from here, I did not really see us going lower. And the reason why is zooming back into the chart here, if we look at the 4 hour, we had, again, noticing the structure that we've been creating recently, we're pulling back up into this breaker. We're starting to really reject to go lower. Notice we started to sell off here, and this ended up just becoming us for a rebalance into the 4 hour fair value gap. And a lot of the times when we have a big wick like this, I'm expecting consequent encroachment of that wick, which is the midpoint, to get respected. So when we ended up coming back down, again, notice on the 4 hour, we never ended up having a candle close. Again, the candles are showing the narrative. The wicks are showing the damage, right? So at this point in time, we ended up coming back, and I took a long in the overnight session and a short because I was just very confident that we do not go lower. I'm expecting us to sweep this level, come to consequent encroachment, and then continue to work our way back up, and then just most likely skyrocket. As you can see from the screenshot, literally exactly what I wanted to see last night ended up happening today, and we even executed on it, right? Now, this could just be a hindsight thing. I said this was going to happen, but I actually executed with it, which not a lot of traders can do in this community, right? So, number one, talking about the first trade. So going into the overnight session last night, I ended up taking a swing position, which was the short, and I ended up creating some buy orders down here. I had, again, low size because when I'm trading a swing trade like this and I don't actually have my entry model, I'm only going to be trading like a quarter of my position sizing. So on this first trade, I took my normal size because I really had conviction. Again, this was an actual model because I knew the draw was going to be sell side at this time. Took a nice short off that 1 hour fair value gap, let this ride all the way back down to that sell side level. Now, once this got taken, I then added one contract. So at this point in time, I added one contract long. And then when we came back down to consequent encroachment, I added two contracts long. So I added one contract here, two contracts long. My fill was around here. And my stop at this point, once I ended up entering, was originally down here, but when I woke up in the morning, I then moved that up once I saw this continue higher. So at this point in time, market ends up opening, again, creating an absolute beautiful setup. Today was just so clear. I had zero hesitation. This is exactly what I wanted to see going into the day, right? We ended up coming down. A sell side's been swept. Consequent encroachment is being held. We have a very bullish bias on the bigger time frame. And one thing I want you guys to notice as well is all of this generated buy side up here, right? All, again, recognizing what the market maker model is, we're looking for manipulation, but this ends up becoming sell side of the curve. We've just been generating all of this buy side. Notice all of these highs are being created and finally ended up taking one of them today. And again, I still consider this to become low resistance liquidity. I still expect us to most likely bounce off this imbalance and then continue higher. But notice all of these highs today were just, again, and from the previous week, generating buy side to then eventually get ran possibly this week or even today. So going into the morning, just going back here, we get displacement through the swing high. We have a 1 hour fair value gap as well as a 15-minute fair value gap at this point in time. So going into the morning, I'm looking to recognize the manipulation move in the morning to then catch the reversal, right? I'm bullish. I want to see manipulation at the lows, and I want to see an internal setup to target the highs that I've been looking for on the bigger time frame model. So going into the day, I notice we have these equal lows down here. I'm looking for these equal lows to get hunted. So going into the 1 minute, that's exactly what we see. We end up selling back off. And notice ES at this time ends up coming all the way back down to sweeping that internal sell side level, but NQ was nowhere near taking this low. Notice the low on NQ is here. So I know just by looking at this, okay, this is going to be my manipulation move most likely because ES is selling off way more than NQ. NQ is super bullish. ES is going to go take this previous low. NQ is nowhere near taking this previous low, and we don't need to go down. So I'm expecting this to be the bigger time frame soup, and we're most likely going to hold this SMT. So at this point in time, I'm waiting to see displacement to the upside. right? I'm waiting. We end up putting in that low. Boom, right here. Once I get this move up, I zoom into the 30-second, and I end up taking my long right here on this 30-second fair value gap. And this is where I initially took my long. I'm in the replay, so you can't really see the executions. But here, let me get out of this. But I took my initial long right here. Again, these two shorts are the original contracts from down here that I ended up exiting out. So my one added here, and then my two added here. I ended up taking them off in the morning because, again, I recognized we most likely wanted to go sell off here, and then I'll get back into my position. But once we ended up hitting, I added 8 contracts. I traded, again, decent size. I was pretty in my full position because I just had a lot of conviction with the setup, right? Exactly what I wanted to see. This is an A-plus setup. We have manipulation at the lows. The bigger time frame draws higher. Sell side's been swept on the bigger time frame. We get displacement. We have an SMT on the bigger time frame. Internal manipulation, internal buy model, right? Displacement of the upside, pull back to a fair value gap. This is exactly what we want to see. This is models inside of models, right? Recognizing this is just the exact same model on a lower time frame or on a bigger time frame, right? Sell side swept, displacement up. This is the exact same thing we're trading here. Sell side swept, displacement up, take a fair value gap. When you start to align these biases together is when you will get good setups, right? When the bigger time frame wants to go higher, when the lower time frame wants to go higher, and you wait for those entries for everything to align is when you'll get the best risk to reward and the best possible outcome. So I ended up taking this long here on this imbalance. We got nice move up and then again, continue to run. I took off my position at standard deviation here and then at the previous high as well. And again, I don't care to catch the rest of this because I don't care that market really goes more than that. All I'm focused on is what I know the market's going to give me. So again, I'm not sitting here looking at, I could have squeezed out a couple, more extra $1,000, whatever. It's not how I view it. I view it as I did exactly what I should have done. I entered the market where I should have, and I took it off where I should have because that was what I was confident in. The only really extra, level I could have taken it off of was this buy side level, which was this internal buy side level. But again, I'm not worried about that. I'm very, very, very happy with today. I'm up 10K on the day. And again, this is one of those trades where we've talked about this a lot in the community, but the trades where have no hesitation are the best setups you possibly can take, right? The setups when you might think that there might not be good opportunity, right? Sometimes you come into the market and you say, this setup, I think this looks good. It looks okay, but you don't have the confidence to really take it. But the time when you actually do get A-plus setups and they show in your face, you have no hesitation because it's exactly what you are looking for. And once you start to realize that if you only really wait for those times in your trading when it's a no hesitation, exactly what's going to happen, those are the trades that you should be taking. Those are the A-plus conviction trades, right? Because sometimes you just want to take a trade to take a trade. Even if you don't have that much conviction in the market, sometimes you come into the market a little bit eager to take something and you end up taking a trade when you most likely should not be taking that trade and you haven't been waiting for it to be, a high conviction setup. So a lot of the time I say wait for one of these days and the days will come, right? I'll say this is probably the best setup that I've gotten in the last month and at least just the most conviction. Like this was just one of those trades where I just had a lot of conviction. Like I just had a lot. And again, it shows just from the last night's session. Like I literally took a long before longs were even really shown to be taken just because I had a lot of conviction for this setup. And then I ended up taking advantage of it when market ended up opening. So again, today was a solid day. The team ended up banking. I'll put some testimonials up so we can see some of our members' profits. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this. If you do have any questions on something that I might have not covered in this video, make sure to leave a comment. If you did, again, like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.